Alrighty, recording. And recording. Hello YouTube, this is The Passion, also known as Mikkel. And today we're going to do a bit of rushing around in this No More Side Jobs segment. We're going to have to pick up, No, I'm actually going to take it easy. We're going to take it easy. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do some lawn mowing. We're going to do some peaceful little lawn mowing, right? And for very, very good reason. Because I was heading over to a friend of mine, and I thought to myself, with the lawn mowing minigame, I found it interesting how how it really was. You deliberately put yourself in an awkward position to make this job work out. The controls feel a bit weird. You got to tilt for turning and that sort of thing. And at the time is one of my first games that asked out of me. Yeah, we got to sorry about that, Travis. We got to really go for it and decide how to really handle ourselves. How to really handle ourselves in like a new scenario, something different. Conduct and move our body around in an awkward fashion. And my earliest memory of that. Actually, no, let's go for my most recent memory, because that's just easier to recall. My most recent memory, that was last year, and that was when I decided to do Southern Dragon Kung Fu. And that was that really was an exciting time for me, because I've been off martial arts for such a long time that it got to a point that it felt awkward just moving around normally, because I wasn't sitting upright, I wasn't watching my posture in any way, I was just taking it as I go, just going day by day, just overworking myself at uni. So I was like, yo, you know what, let's just go ahead and do this instead. Let's just go right ahead, get down to business, learn how to handle myself a bit in a fight. And there's the little bit of a joke there in itself, really, because I didn't know at the time that, like, I know in the martial arts world, Kung Fu is really useful against people that don't know how to fight. But at the time, I found it so therapeutic, like, actually peaceful. I felt like I had drive and direction. But after really mulling over it and sort of like looking into it a bit more and seeing which ones are like the most liable, really, to keep me safe, keep me and my loved ones safe, I was like, okay, so maybe Kung Fu isn't quite the way. And the only reason I started questioning it really was it's just how the classes were structured. I assumed to be like way more pad work, way more application work, but I was used to that sort of structure when it came to Taekwondo, because it started with Sama Karate, and that was when I was, I think I was 10 or something, and I was just tiny. I was just tiny, really, and it's just something to, so yeah, build your self-confidence, and and it didn't really do much, because, oh man, Sama Karate barely counted. Sama Karate barely counted for my development, man. Like, it got me understanding what a punch looked like and how it should sound maybe on the pad, but I was even then I was just too spooked to hit the pad hard enough, so making that little bang sound was just sometimes a little bit too much for me. I was always focused, and I was always, well, not focused, I was always like overthinking something else, so it didn't really help my focus or discipline, really. Southern Dragon Kung Fu really did. I could see quite a few of the problems of the martial art when I really sat and mulled over it after being like, oh, when are we gonna do applications more on the regular and that sort of thing. The forms were fantastic. Those really got me moving around and really got me nice and focused. It's literally like meditation in motion, because the stance for Southern Dragon was probably one of the trickiest things I think I've found myself doing physically. Like, between hitting the gym 4 times a week and doing Southern Dragon, like, what, 2 times a week? Southern Dragon takes way more your attention. Way more. Because you gotta let your hips sink down as much as you can. You gotta have one foot forward, 45-degree angle. You bend the knee over the toe. And the back foot's back. And the back foot is... the back foot is pointing straight, knee slightly bent, and you just the main point of that is the exercise is really to get yourself all limber and flexible enough so that you're able to just sit lower and lower in the stance, and whoever has the lowest stance has a bigger advantage. And shuffling back and forth with that kind of a stance. Oh, it's agony the first couple of sessions, man. It was agony. I thought I actually tore something in my quads because I was hooked. I was hooked on this Southern Dragon Kung Fu style, and oh boy, for the longest time I was like, you know what, this is the one. This is the one I can stick to. I really like it a lot. It does so much. It has so many potential applications whenever we got around to those, and when asked, of course, we were told. But after a while, I was just itching to really put what I've learned a bit into practice. Like I was hella respectful at the time. I was all nice and patient, but then after a while, I started to see when I was seeing the cracks, and how the lessons were structured. That's when I started doubting how liable the style was. So yeah, I sat down a bit more, thought it over, and I'm like, so much of this stuff comes out the right hand, and it's not a symmetry thing. Like you toy it on one side, you do it on the other side. No, you do not do that. You do not do that in Southern Dragon. It sounds like I'm bashing this style like crazy. I am not. I'm not hating on it like crazy, man. I'm really not. Like it was the most recent awkward thing I had to do consistently, thoroughly. I had my full attention on it, really enjoyed it. And it's just how the lessons were put together. Like, other than that, I really enjoyed it. But the major point I'm making here is that despite doing something awkward or something a bit tricky for you, keep at it, man. Because, dude, the first time I got through the first sort of introduction form, the first one is only this 16 step. The 16 steps, right? The first time I completed that, I felt incredible. I felt amazing, man, because I do struggle keeping things in order. Anything to do with like information, like it just takes a bit more. I feel like it takes a bit more work than it really should. I always got something running through my head. I always got something drumming through, and it's been like, oh, what about this? What about this? That sort of thing. But with Southern Dragon Kung Fu, I could focus on one task. It felt like just one big task. It's all the moves. It asks you to flow, to sort of make it all one movement. You go, it's steps, 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 steps. It's almost like you're walking. You don't think about making the most perfect, absolute, perfect posture step when you're walking around normally, right? With Southern Dragon, it kind of feels like it makes you do that. Really gets you mindful of everything that you're doing in your body. And, oh man, I think that's my most peaceful time. And ironically, that was when I had finished my second year of uni, and I should have been all kinds of tense like the whole rest of the summer, but man, I was not, man. I was hella chilled out. But any sort of awkward task you got hold of, like you're invested, you still want to do it, you still want to continue it, keep at it. Keep at it. I might end up saying keep at it every single one of these videos, really. But it might be a bit tricky, but looking for its purpose, or keeping an eye on where it is in the end. If you do it often enough, you'll feel all kinds of super after. You feel all kinds of super after. Like another example, it was just writing. It was writing and trying to finish this this prequel novel. I had brewing for on and off for about 3-4 years, and I decided, you know what, screw it, it's never going to get finished. I'm giving myself 3 weeks to finish it, and this was back when I was writing by hand. I either do it by end of such month, I think it's by end of July. I didn't have a plan in my head for August 1st. That's how it was. It just had to be finished then. And I didn't want to cut any of the story out. And, first week, like, cause it could have been done, like, I was aiming for 10,000 words a week. By hand. I was a very passionate kid. I say passionate kid, it's only like, I think it was like 5 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago I decided to do that. And, oh man, that took a lot of effort out of me. The first week, it's like 8,000 words. Next week, it's about 9,000. And I was getting worried. I was getting so worried. I thought I couldn't make it with how much my wrist was hurting. I'll be going out to work, and it got to a point I was so obsessed with it. Money wasn't a concern for me in the slightest. I'd rather be writing. I'd rather be at home at the dining room table with pretty much my pitched up office of thesaurus, laptop, for like dictionary-ish things, and and pen and my notepad. And my notepads, little exercise books, whatever it was at the time. And, oh man, those are... Oh. The third week really surprised me. Is 12,000 words. And, ooh, I don't know what happened. I think the pain in like the strain in my fingers and wrist, they just disappeared. And it was minutes before midnight, and I did it. I actually finished it. I was hella proud. After all those years, that story was finally finished. That second draft was finally done. And man, I think my social skills kind of dropped at one point because I just wasn't. There were points I just wasn't talking to people. People were a bit worried about me. I'm like, no, I'm just thinking about my book. Don't worry about it. And time to time I had to scuttle off and make a note on a piece of tissue and stow it away somewhere. Just keep on me however I could. But again, the running theme between both of those: doing an awkward movement, doing something you're not quite used to, doing something about your comfort zone, and really kind of pushing yourself enough to be like, you know what? If I go waggle around and twist my wrist like crazy till it kind of feels funny, it kind of hurts, you gotta go for it. You gotta go for it, because if the end goal really means that much to you, the difficulties of that journey will not matter. It won't matter. It will just feel like steps. It will just feel like you're walking. You're just walking a bit differently. Because going back to Southern Dragon, the Southern Dragon anecdotes and also the analogy, you push off your back foot and then you lift your front foot a little bit, and your back foot is what launches you forward. And then you just keep doing that, and that's how you move around. And then obviously opposite. Do you want to move backwards? You push off your front foot. Let your back foot move off the ground a little bit. Whoop! Then you launch yourself, and that's it. It's very direct style. You either go dead straight forward. Kind of feels like you're being an arrow, and you're taking a step into your attack, sort of thing as well. And actually, as of this recording, I will be getting back into Southern Dragon. I've already made notes on what kind of training regimen I'm gonna have to get back into again, because oh boy, I'll be quite impressed if I actually remember the 3 forms I've been shown so far, because there's a 16-step, an 8-step, and a Sam Tong one, I believe it's called. And that's the big snazzy one. That's the big snazzy one I like a lot. But it really is important for anyone who's listening to this, or just anyone in general. They don't even have to be listening to this. It doesn't really matter. This is me just talking, chilling out, and earning money in a video game. If it's a bit weird, if it's a bit different, the sort of movement you gotta do. If you're working out and you can't quite get the right form for a squat, and you're not quite comfortable with that kind of movement, pass to someone who knows it well, knows it right. It might feel weird, like could be the first 1,000 reps. and you're doing it with the correct form and then you're flopping into your old one, you'll keep doing that movement until it's done correctly. Otherwise your posture's going to go off. You're going to be hurting all kinds of different joints. Ooh, you need to. You definitely need to, because I've I've hurt myself a little bit before doing exercises the wrong way. I really have. Actually, my right shoulder. My right shoulder hurts quite. It's been on and off, this kind of pain, and I believe it was from doing a pull-up. I just got obsessed with doing pull-ups at one point, and I was hitting the gym 4 times a week, and all of a sudden, whoop! I get this sharp pain in my shoulder, and I just had to leave it be. I just had to leave it alone, because I was working 5 days a week. I was hitting the gym 4 days in a row, and I wasn't getting all that much rest in between, like all that stuff I was doing. So, despite me thundering on and really doing my very best to make it all happen and make it all work, I was doing myself a disservice. I was not doing that right. So, if you're gonna soldier on and do something awkward, at least be safe. That's another thing. That's my other point to you guys. Be nice to yourself. Be nice to yourself when you're following up on any of these goals. And if it literally comes down to work is asking a bit too much out of you, and it's your health, take your time off. Let one of the higher ups know, one of your supervisors, managers, whatever, whoever's running the operation, and they're like, right, I don't know, they could be like a room or 2 away, on the same floor as you, that sort of thing. Let them know something's up, because not everyone can read your mind. Not everyone can read your mind if you got some sort of injury, some sort of condition, what have you. Let them know. Be nice and open about it. Be nice and fully understanding of what that issue is, not just this sort of weird wishy-washy, I kind of maybe like, no, you gotta shoot straight on that, in that regard. Because when I was having trouble with my shoulder, I'm right-handed, so a lot of what I had to do, especially at work, was predominantly right-handed stuff. And I was getting shooting pains in my shoulder, and I'm like, oh man, I can't do this anymore. I gotta take a break from this certain station, right? Gotta take a break. Otherwise, I feel like something could just go way worse. Something could seriously go wrong on my shoulder, and it won't be a point of like, it won't be a situation of, yeah, I could just chill out, just rest it off for a while, and I'll be fine anyway. No, like, oh, I could feel that, like, if I didn't say anything, nothing would have changed. Nothing would have changed. I kept at it, doing a tricky job till I got real super good at it, but then it got to a point that I'm the only one at that station, and I'm like, ooh, please save me. Please save me. Let me go. Yeah. But stepping back to the Southern Dragon Kung Fu, I kind of went on a tangent and went back to work. To my work tangent. Really sit and really stop and breathe deep. Really breathe deeply. If you're finding something just a bit confusing, a bit odd, a bit tricky, really take a deep breath, like, and let your belly, let your tummy really fill up, and then empty as well, because that does wonders. Straight away it takes all kinds of tension off you. Really pay attention to your body, like where you tense. Is it your shoulders? Is it your jaw? Is it your feet? Is it your back? Really relax. Really relax. It could be just for a full minute. It could be for 5. And then just take a note of what you're really finding that little bit awkward in your life. You're not quite navigating around it as nicely as you would be. You're stuck in a bit of a rut, or you just don't quite feel yourself. Really stop and ask yourself what that is. Like, what set it off? Now that could be very testing for you to face, but It might be scary. Actually, you know what? I'm sure it'll be scary. I'm sure it'll be scary. Because there's a lot of people I know that just don't really stop and reflect on what's really troubling them. And like sometimes of what I've said, like what I've advised and told them is sunk in. They've done something about it. A lot of people I've said, I'm like, well, you can't keep at it like this. I could suggest this to you, but it's really down to you at the end of the day. And then it's down to them at the end of the day, and they just leave it be. But you gotta like, I don't think a lot. What the point I'm trying to make is, I don't think a lot of people really are settled in the body they have. They don't know how to move it around like efficiently enough to really support their posture, support their habits, flexibility, like their strength, endurance, that sort of thing. There's a lot of people I know that just they ain't into it, ain't quite their thing, but all kinds of tense and all kinds of confused and not sure how to go about things. And doing some sort of physical activity, you can switch your brain off. As soon as you get the rhythm down, as soon as you got the right exercise down, right technique down, it could be a sport, it could be just a gym. I'm a simple boy. For me, it's just the gym at the moment, but when it's something a bit more stimulating, like a sport or a martial arts, where you can see how your skills like progress and grow, then things don't feel so tricky anymore. Like, you have an outlet for that sort of pent-up energy. And oh boy, like, man, we got a lot more energy than we realised. Like, I've taken an unplug week before, just avoided all computers unless I've absolutely necessarily had to use them. So I wouldn't be browsing around on social media, stayed off YouTube. I only contacted people through my phone when I absolutely had to. So I would set up when to meet somebody. It'd be at this time, that's it. I either have to be there or I'm not, or they're not there, and then that's it. Well, my phone would be off. I had my phone on me, it'll be off. And that was the most frustrating week for quite a few people. I've done this challenge with a friend of mine as well, and man, it's such an eye opener. I feel like I had all the time in the world. It's really weird. But then I realised how quickly I could get very bored. So I did go running in the morning. I did chill out and read. I did add to my journal. It felt it wasn't like some Dark Ages crap. It wasn't like that far to the point of just like complete unplug, no luxuries whatsoever, that sort of thing. It's just getting away from screens that distract you. Like I think I slowed down on gaming at the time as well. Actually, it's just a very nice, peaceful week. As soon as I had a chance to do that, I really got to settle and understand the body I'm working with. It's hard to explain, but I felt very grounded. And do whatever you can to sort of find what grounds you. It could be reading, it could be writing, it could be drawing, it could be singing. It could be any kind of creative thing. It's just a nice little peaceful outlet. I know these sound like simple, basic, wishy-washy things, but I do wish it made more of an appearance, that kind of thing, like just day to day. Because there's way too many screens in front of us. We're spending way too much time in front of screens. Like, there was a recommended amount of time, but then all of a sudden that disappeared. How much time we should be on the internet, how much time we should be in front of the TV, that sort of thing. Just all of a sudden that just disappeared, I think. And I guess researchers just found enough box sets to enjoy. I don't know. It's box sets and TV series just back to back to watch and enjoy. But it's do your best to take a break just from everything. Really snooze, really sleep, and really Enjoy the time you have. Enjoy the time you have, because if you start the day, I found myself starting the day on my phone and ending the day on my phone. And I was shocked. I was like, oh, damn it, I had so much I had to do today. Ah. And I still get caught in that trap sometimes. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not dropping this advice out like I've done it, woped and ascended. No. I've had these nice breaks. Go into it, and I managed to see how I could reorganize my time. It's why I enjoy having a timetable. I literally have it. I'm looking at it right now. I have it pasted on my wall, and it's all nice and color coded. Yeah, I'm a bit dorky like Gwen from Ben 10. In that regard. But I honestly find it scary not having a timetable. Having a timetable is so important, because you know what you want, you know what you don't want, and you know what you're working towards. And it makes you realise when you're trying to organise all that stuff, and then you see how much you actually complete, how much limited time you actually have, how much time it actually does take to complete a task. Or we'll never have a... I don't think we'll ever have a point in... At least when I'm alive, for as long as I'm alive, I don't think we'll have a point in history that I get to witness. When I get to witness us getting back that time we wasted, any sort of a time machine. It's, oof, man, I can't imagine that. That'd be trippy. That'd be trippy, I think. Until then, let me know what you guys think. Like, what are your methods to conquering a goal that you find really important to you, very intense, that sort of stuff. Drop a like if you like what you heard. Drop a comment of what else you'd like me to talk about, what else you'd like us to discuss. And subscribe if you want to hear any more. If you want to hear any more of my voice, see any more of what else I got to show, and what we got to see together. But until then, this has been The Passion, also known as Mikkel. See you on the next journey. Take care.